Hey, hi. My goodness, such a lot of chat already. And I'm seeing there's rain in British Columbia. It is no rain at all for months in southern US. And yes, Regina, I think you should do a rain dance. Maybe we should all do a rain dance. But anyway, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, on whatever part of this amazing planet you're habitating. And well, we are going to do not the week ahead, we are doing the month ahead. We are doing the month of July. So we could be here for quite a long time, although I've picked out the key points that we really need to be aware of in July. And that's what I'm going to talk about, because obviously now I'm doing these Astro Bites, and I'm so glad you like the Astro Bites. It came to me in a kind of inspirational flash only on Wednesday, I think. And I just thought, what a great idea. I can do a whole batch of them and then just upload them every day, which is what I'm doing. So I really am hoping that, as you say in the chat, that you are enjoying the Astro Bites series. And so, how is everyone? Because this is the last day of June. Yesterday, Saturday, Saturn went retrograde in Pisces. And thank you, Regina. You're enjoying them. That's fantastic. Oh, thanks, Andy. Bless you. I'm so pleased. That's really good to know. So, Saturn went retrograde in Pisces yesterday. And on the 2nd of July, another of the big outer planets, Neptune, our planet that rules Pisces, that is currently in Pisces, also stands still and goes retrograde. So that is Tuesday this week. Tomorrow, the 1st, not a lot happens. There's an Astro Bites for it, but not a lot happens. But you know what? The way this month is panning out, you'll be glad that not a lot happens tomorrow. So let's come on to July the 2nd, because this is an important day. So Tuesday, Mercury, our planet of communication, moves into the sign of Leo. So Leo, of course, occupies the second half of July, because we're currently in Cancer season. And by the 22nd, the sun has moved into Leo. And on the 2nd, Mercury moves into Leo and trines Neptune as it goes retrograde. Now, what can we expect from a retrograde Neptune? We've now got, or going to have, 2 planets retrograde in Pisces. Remember, Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. And Pisces is also about our intuition, our knowing, our kind of deep inner dreams, imaginative thoughts, our kind of ability to tune into the higher frequencies. And also Pisces is very much about our kind of psychic self, our inner world. Now, Neptune has been going through Pisces for several years. And Neptune, for anyone who has a sun or a moon or Mercury, Mars, or Venus in Pisces, will have been affecting you over the last few years. When Neptune was conjunct my moon at 10 degrees of Pisces, I started opening up much more on a kind of intuitive and psychic level, because it was as if that part of me had been dormant for a while, and Neptune touching my moon helped that to re-emerge. So also, if you have the sun in Pisces, that can be quite emotive in terms of the psychic abilities that you might have with Neptune transiting your sun, and actually making you feel sometimes a little bit lightheaded and a little bit out of sorts. So Neptune has been teetering on the edge at the 29th degree of Pisces. It's as if it's not quite sure whether it should move forwards into Aries and start around the wheel again, the zodiac wheel. Now, it will, but not fully till 2026. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. So whilst Neptune goes retrograde, it's giving us all a chance to just slow down a bit, especially with our kind of psychic abilities and psychic kind of feelings and our dreams and our imagination, to not let them kind of run away with us. This is really giving us an opportunity to just take it easy a bit, because Saturn, that of course is also going retrograde, even though they don't really meet fully as they both retrograde through Pisces, on some level they are still within each other's energy. Saturn is trying to bring form to the formless. Sometimes for you, it might feel, whilst Neptune is retrograde in Pisces, that your feelings and emotions are spilling over everywhere. What you need to do is tune into that Saturn energy and ask Saturn to help you give some structure, some form to your psychic abilities, your intuitive gut feelings, to help you make sense of it. We are teetering on the brink of massive world change. There's a lovely way of putting it, because someone told me that there was an Indian astrologer. I don't know who he is or what his name was, and bless him. He said that World War III was going to break out yesterday. Unless we're all being lied to, I don't think it did. But anyway, I just thought that was quite amusing, because I think maybe what would have made more sense would be for him to have said, the old world order is ending and the new world order is beginning, because that really is where we are heading towards as we swim through the waters of Pisces. So with this kind of sense for all of us, and especially when Pluto fully moves into Aquarius on the 20th of November this year, you know, we really are moving towards a new planet, a new Earth, a new world. But there are some very important transits this month, and I want to give you a sense of what this month's energies are fully about. I feel it's as if we will all have a sense of anticipation, kind of excitement, but kind of reluctant excitement and anticipation. A sense that something is bubbling away underneath the surface. Now, I want to come to Mercury, because on the 3rd of July, which is Wednesday, Mercury, who is our messenger god, our planet of communication that rules Gemini and Virgo, is in Leo, and it makes an opposition to our planet of transformation, Pluto, retrograde in Aquarius. Remember, Pluto is now at 0 degrees. It's really nearly about to dip back into Capricorn. So yes, Regina, there is a sense of anticipation. And right, Poonam, you're feeling an energetic shift about leaving the old world order behind. And I saw someone else that I know, and I've lost you. But anyway, yes, I think it's Mercury opposite Pluto. Pay attention to Wednesday. I've done an Astro Bite about it. We could hear news that is controversial, that is, I want to say shocking, but that's too strong a word. I think we will hear something about the ending of something. And with the ending of that something, we get the chance for the new to come in, because as you know, the new can't come in if we haven't made way by letting the old go. Mercury is the planet of communication. We are going to hear something, whether this is on a personal level or an international level. I think there's going to be news that comes out around Wednesday, so midweek. All this week is supercharged with energy. That's interesting, Poonam. You feel like we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yes, it is a bit like that. It does have that kind of, oh, you're welcome, Laurie, for the Astro Bites. I'm thoroughly enjoying them. I just hope I can find the energy to keep them going. I'll do my best. So let's think about this. Mercury opposite Pluto. Pluto transforms. It's also about transition. There is news, okay, of somebody stepping down for a transition of power to take place. That's what's come to me. I'm not saying that about anyone in particular. Okay? This can be on a personal level within the work you do, you know, like a CEO steps down. And it can be anything of that kind of nature. But because it's Leo, it's a leader. Because Mercury is in Leo. Because it's Aquarius, it affects the people. So this is about news about a leader that has to let go of something, that has to step down. So let's see how this week unfolds, because it's excuse me, it's hot here in Gozo, and I put sleeves on. Why did I put sleeves on? Anyway, I like the color. Yes, I think so, Regina. I agree. There is going to be a shake-up in your US election. It still reminds me of Steve Judd, the British astrologer, and I hope he doesn't mind if I quote him. I'm absolutely giving him this quote. He suggested, when he looked at the charts of both candidates for the US election, that neither would actually be able to run, which I find quite interesting. You know, anyway, we will see. We will see. We don't know. We don't know. It's all speculative. And, you know, with astrology, and I think this is really important to say, it's all an astrologer can do is describe the energies of the moment. An intuitive astrologer, which I guess I am, may have a flash of insight about something that then turns out to be true. But at the same time, I don't see astrology as being a huge predictive tool. And I don't think it was ever intended to be a predictive tool. I think the ancients gave birth to astrology to actually help us navigate our own personal lives, to know whether we should take an umbrella out today or extra water because it's going to be very hot. So there's two ways that all of these energies can go. So I just feel it's super important to not get carried away with predictive astrology. Let's move on through the week, because I want to also talk about the 4th of July, because of course in America, that's your Independence Day. And there are, just if I go to my other notes, I can tell you what the transits are for the 4th. Well, the moon is in Cancer on the 4th, and it squares Neptune. So there's something about people, there's a tension. There's a tension at home. There is a tension of people not quite knowing which way they want to go or what they want to do or which way they want to do with anything. Now, I don't quite know what I mean by that, but Pisces is causing confusion, delusion, illusion, and mystery. And you've been having a lot of predictive dreams. That's interesting, Regina. So the 4th of July, we've also got Mars in Taurus, making a sextile, which is helpful, to retrograde Saturn in Pisces. So I think we're going to see a little bit of jittery financial markets and stock markets because of the UK election. And I do think, like the election, forthcoming election in the United States, along with the forthcoming election in France, where they've actually started the voting today, everything is going to change. If there's one certainty, it is that there will be change. And what's interesting, of course, is that the 5th of July, the day after, is the new moon in Cancer. And this new moon is at 14 degrees. And this new moon is conjunct Venus in Cancer. Now, Venus likes Cancer because she can feel beautiful in there and luxuriate and do a little bit of home cooking and nurturing. And there's a sense with this new moon, I'm just going to go to my new moon notes, because what's interesting about this new moon, and I was planning to do the video for this afternoon, and my back's been playing up today because I probably overdid it yesterday. So I had to lie down this afternoon to be okay to do this. So the new moon short video might be a bit late, but it will be out sometime this week. We just have to ask the lovely Jerry to see if he can find the time to do it and do all the twiddly bits and put the chart up and do all that where I go, and everything. So anyway, the new moon, it falls between two full moons in Capricorn. Now, this makes this new moon rather important because it's bringing in the energy of the masculine and the feminine, because Cancer is the feminine. Now, interestingly, Capricorn is also a feminine sign. However, Capricorn traditionally, with Saturn as its ruler, would be father. But Cancer also can be father. It can be father-mother, because Cancer is about ancestry. So where am I going with this? Well, what I'm sensing is that there's something about this new moon that underlines the mother-father authority, the cardinal energy of both of these signs of being proactive. It's the question that we have to ask ourselves around this new moon. Are we still a child to our parents? Because sometimes even at 69, we can still be a child to our parents, even though they are long since gone. Just think about it. That second full moon in Capricorn is known as a blue moon, because when you get either 2 full moons in a month or 2 full moons in the same sign, they're called blue moons because it happens once in a blue moon. Cue song, Blue Moon. Anyway, moving swiftly on. So think with this new moon, and I will do a longer video about it, about how much are you still unconsciously under the influence of your parents, acting out their wishes and dreams for you rather than your own, living their vision for you and not your own. It just makes you think, doesn't it? So Capricorn, also, Regina, I've just seen you write the word military. Yeah, it's military. And I know I'm leaping ahead a bit here, but the full moon in Capricorn on the 21st is conjunct Pluto. That is extraordinary energy. That's going to be a video, because Pluto conjunct the full moon. You think about this. The sun is at the very last degree of Cancer, and the moon is at the very last degree of Capricorn. It's like really pushing those boundaries. And Pluto is going, hello, because remember, he's the devil. Hello. Well, have I got news for you? Everything is about to change. Everything you thought you knew that was safe and secure, well, I can take it away like that. So I wonder if around this second full moon, there will be the military aspect of rhetoric, whether there will be something going on in our problem areas where the opposing forces will be kind of riding towards each other and kind of going, whoa, blah, 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 and, you know, making faces at each other and then running back again, and really having kind of commanding and demanding discussions. You know, there's also, we have to think about Pluto, and I've missed a really important, I'm going to come back to another very important transit this month, which I've just spotted as I look down. But whilst I'm talking about this full moon in Capricorn, so we're talking about the moons, the new moon and the full moon. The full moon, Pluto can also represent plutonium. And so it represents nuclear, anything that is discussed that is nuclear. Now, I'm not saying that that means that we're going to have nuclear explosions. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that we need to be aware of what's going on in the news, because there was some news out and about that I think it's Russia are sending nuclear-powered missiles into space that can take out satellites. I don't know how true that is. So there'll have to be Maybe there'll be a YouTube fact checker on this video to say, and they'll put a big thing across it saying fake news. I don't know. Let's see. But let's come back to what is probably the most important aspect of July, because all month we are going to be building towards this. And for the rest of the month, we are going to be moving away from it. And this is Mars conjunct Uranus. And this is on, and of course, I've lost my notes. There we go. Mars is conjunct Uranus on the, and it's a really important conjunction, which I can't find. Oh, here we are, July the 15th. There we go, July 15th. So Mars in Taurus conjunct Uranus in Taurus conjunct, wait for it, there's something more, Algol. You remember I told you all about the fixed star Algol, who was the goddess who was turned into I've forgotten what the name is, but she was called Medusa. She was a gorgon, so she had a head full of serpents, and the story goes that she was so awful to look at that if you just looked at her, if you just glanced at her, it would instantly turn you to stone. Now, think of this combination of Mars, our god of action, energy, assertion, sexuality, in Taurus, Earth fixed, doesn't want to move. Mars rules Aries. Mars is the god of war. Conjunct Uranus. Uranus is the planet of the unexpected. So how can I even predict what this conjunction can mean? But let's just think a little bit further along with this, because Uranus is also about electricity. It's about shocks. It's about the complete unexpected. And it can also bring earthquakes. It can bring volcanic eruptions. They can be literal earth movements. They can be political earthquakes. Well, we've had plenty of those, and I'm sure we will have plenty more. Or it can cause financial earthquakes because it's in Taurus. Let's bring this down to a personal level, first of all. First of all, don't mess around with electricity that day, because you might get a little shock. So, that's one of the things I would say. If that fuse needs changing or that plug is playing up, get a professional to do it. Don't try and fiddle with it yourself. So no home electrics, please. So be mindful of that. And secondly, you may be the one that is making very definite decisions about your direction in life. And so you will be surprising people by decisions you make, because Uranus also is the planet of waking up, the awakener. So I just have to read this because I've just glimpsed at it. Algol sits on your descendant, Tiffany, within 1 degree. Things tend to pop off for me when it gets triggered. It sits on my natal sun in Taurus. So I know what you mean. And this Mars conjunct Uranus conjunct Algol, just to also put things in context, also is, I don't know if anyone knows or can remember when Donald Trump has his sentencing, but it's conjunct his midheaven. And so, the midheaven is about our public image. So there is something here that I think is going to make him possibly a little angry. and that might not be good for his health. And so the other side of that is it's opposite. I believe it's opposite. It's doing something in Biden's chart as well. So neither of them are going to get an easy ride with this particular transit. The other thing with the Mars in Taurus conjunct Uranus in Taurus, apart from potential Earth movements, is there can be a collective waking up, a collective growing awareness from the people that they will not stand for, put up with this kind of being governmentally ruled by, a small minority or a small group of people at the top. I think there is going to be a big move this month, or we're going to see the beginnings of it, of people moving towards community living, community building, choosing to use the Mars in Taurus conjunct Uranus to dig a vegetable garden, to plant seeds, to do something constructive with this wonderful electric energy. That would be such powerful use of this energy to actually, maybe the collective decide, let's all live off the grid. Stuff what all these governments say, they're not exactly getting it right. And, yes, Regina, on the community level, let's hope so. Let me just see what Robert Johans is saying here. In addition to the Mars-Uranus conjunction, there is what is happening 84 years ago in the Uranus cycle. Before that, Mars is energizing that. Okay, good point. 84 years ago. Someone look up in the history books and see what was going on 84 years ago. Was that something to do with the First World War? Or the Second World War? There could have been something to do with that because we've just had the 80th anniversary. So there is something about this conjunction that I think is going to affect everyone. And, it's yes, we need to work on communities. I think, it's almost like, and I sound like a conspiracy theorist now, but COVID made us stay home. So with COVID making us stay home, we all got used to being insular and on our own. Isn't that what they wanted on some level? I'm being controversial now, because if they've got us being obedient, good little handmaid wives or handmaid boys, they can then just decide. They can be the puppeteers to what we're told, because I've really been getting a sense this month of the need very much to sail your own ship, to take a few steps back and think about what is your vision for your future and the future of your children and the future of the collective. Because if we're all on the same page, even if we've all been separated, somehow we can achieve that. So I'm just seeing what Nick is saying. What about we the people, not the we're under this control? Listen, part of all of this is waking up. Let's go back to Uranus. Uranus is the planet that wakes us up. Uranus wakes us up, shocks us awake, and says, hey, look at the reality here. And I know it's difficult because with social media, with the news is so miserable and negative. It's really difficult to know what to believe, who to believe, and that includes social media. And anything I say or anyone like me says is just speculative. You know, I can't say I have proof. I'm just reading the astrological energies that I see before me. And for instance, Mars, our planet of action and energy, moves into Gemini on July the 20th, the day before that full moon in Capricorn. And Mars in Gemini, I think, makes for some assertive discussions and assertive talking, even angry talk. Even getting angry with ourselves and thinking, how can I have been so dumb? How can I have been asleep for so long? Going back to my theme at the beginning about, am I still my parents' child? Well, on one level, of course, we're always the child of our parents, but we have to be the adult that they would actually want us to be. And a lot of us never achieve being a grown-up, being an adult, because that is actually a really major step forward in taking responsibility. And that is probably one of the most important things I've said tonight. We all have to take responsibility. We all, as the people, Pluto, remember, is going to move fully into Aquarius. Aquarius is the people. Putin. Oh, maybe that Freudian slip is right. Pluto is giving us the transforming power to take hold of our own reins, to direct our lives collectively in harmony with each other. Now, the sun enters Leo on the 22nd, and on the 23rd, the sun in Leo is also opposite Pluto, retrograde in Aquarius. You know, the sun rules Leo. The sun is our heart and our soul. The sun is royalty, is leadership. The sun in opposition to Pluto shows us that the changes that Pluto is pushing forward in us individually, in the sense of can I steer my own ship? Can I have my own opinions? Can I take responsibility for my opinions? Can I look for the relevant evidence to support my opinions? Can I abide by the rules of society that are a common denominator for all of us? Can I love and respect myself and everybody else? Because, you know, that's one of the most difficult things to do. Until we love and respect ourselves, how can we respect and love another? And, you know, there's a sense, because Mercury, by the 25th, the planet of communication, moves into Virgo. It rules Virgo. There's going to be some very mindful talk coming out, mindful thinking from all of us. We're going to be looking at what we have to choose from. And the other thing I wanted to say is, I think on, I'm just leaping back, I tend to do this sometimes. July the 4th in the UK, for all of you English people out there, United Kingdom people, Don't sit at home as your vote of protest. Please go and vote, because it's only by voting that it forces us all individually to make a qualified and rational decision. Look at your evidence with everything in front of you. Do your research, but don't waste a vote, because the energy for July the 4th in the UK with that new moon on the 5th is that everyone's going to sit at home and say, I really don't know what to do, so I'm just going to let them get on with it. It really, that kind of apathy will just mean that we go to hell in a handcart. Now there's an old-fashioned saying. So let's just look at what else is going on, because France today started their voting. There's a huge move in Europe for you Americans and Canadians and any Australians who happen to be up late at night watching this, or in Asia. There's a huge move towards the right. And, you know, sometimes waves come which we can't stop. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, for sure and for certain, we are going to see big changes throughout Europe. And, you know, it's interesting because if Europe moves to the right, how secure will the European Union be? Does everything have to break down before we come together collectively? Does everything have to break down in the United States with your elections and your leadership kind of, well, it's just, who knows who is going to be on the ballot box on the day. But, you know, apathy or I don't know what to do are not adult and appropriate excuses. I don't care is not a good way of looking at all of this. Action from all of us is the only way things will change. We are collectively, if you're here now listening to this and anything similar to this, then you are waking up. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to all of this. You'd think, that's a load of, I'm going to go and get a drink or whatever. So if you're listening, I suspect there is something that I'm saying that is resonating with you, even if it's making you laugh. If it's having some effect on you, then that has to be a good thing, even if it's making you laugh, because it's making you think. And that's actually what it's all about. We have to think. And we get very lazy. And I think COVID and lockdown made us very lazy. So thank you, Andy. Yes, I will keep at it. Listen, I'm just going to move on because I want to get to our word of the month. So I'm moving on through all of my notes and I'm saying, I think what we have to do is we really have to, and I'm just trying to find, where is it? It's disappeared. Here it is. Sorry, guys. Just had a slight technical situation there. Yeah, okay. I think that when the sun moves into the fiery and fixed sign of Leo on the 22nd of July, just after that powerful full moon in Capricorn, it will bring us the energy and determination to take the bold steps that we need along a new path that we can all actually see unfolding before us, which Neptune in Pisces teetering on the edge to look over into Aries and another go round the zodiac wheel. Neptune knows it is going to really drown out the cries of the disbelievers. I don't know where this is coming from. I'm just carrying on with it. What's this, Christine? Figuring out how astrology and I can't see what you've written and human behavior coincide. Because, Christine, astrology is also about psychology because we're dealing with human archetypes. So let's use an example of Mars. Mars is the planet of energy, assertion, aggression, war, and sexuality, to name but a few. Okay? So that means that if Mars is conjunct Uranus, we may be in a situation, for example, with, let's say, with a loved one, and we suddenly wake up, that's Uranus, and think, hey, this guy's been treating me like SH1T. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to swear on YouTube, and I've got a little bit carried away with TikTok lately, and I've been looking at it and thinking, she's quite funny. Anyway, sorry, moving swiftly on. This guy talks SH1T, and I don't know whether he really respects me. In fact, he doesn't even listen to me. And in fact, I'm really, really angry about it. There's your Mars conjunct Uranus. Say it's in your 7th house of significant relationships. Anyone with Taurus on the 7th house, so that would make you a Scorpio ascendant or a Scorpio sun sign, may have a relationship issue that day. That is how we link in the human psyche and psychology to astrology. Right, Leslie, does the astrology show a reason why people are so apathetic? Does it show what direction the politics will go in the UK election? Okay, Leslie, first of all, I think that the reason we are so apathetic from the astrology is because the astrology has been putting us through an absolute kind of meat grinder to try and get some life into us. And it's been absolutely, these major outer planets that are all gonna move signs. Uranus by 2026 will be in Gemini, in an air sign. It's an air planet. It'll be comfortable there. It's been in Taurus, where it's fixed, where all it can do is blow its top with a volcano. We've got Pluto in Aquarius. It's been in Capricorn, an earth sign, where it hasn't been able to flex its muscles or blow its top in any form whatsoever. It's going to move into Aquarius, where it's going to be full of enlightenment and full of connecting to the people in general, the community, and empowering them, making them kind of transform into the beautiful kind of wonderful, loving, respectful human beings they can be. And Saturn in Pisces has been drowning its energy in there. It's trying to put form into the formless. It's really been having a rough time. So do you see how this is what has created this apathy? COVID created the apathy at the beginning of 2020. We got locked up, and that was from the transits that were happening at the beginning of 2020, when we had Saturn conjunct Pluto in Capricorn. That slowed us down. It stopped us dead in our tracks. Let's move on to the word of the day, because, the word of the month is what I mean, because I think you might like this one. So the word of the month is kind of connected to the energy of Pluto. It's empowerment. Now, I really feel that one of the reasons we've been apathetic is because we give our power away too easily. Whether it's because we've all been lulled into this kind of almost like a sleeping beauty state, where we sit on the sofa, we flick through the channels, or we scroll on our device, and so that we're constantly captured by social media or the television. We're constantly stimulated by all this outside information. What that does is we give the power to everybody else. We kind of unconsciously presume we have no power ourselves to, to make a difference. You know, whatever we're doing in our lives, wherever we are in our lives, we have to feel empowered. We have to take responsibility and look after ourselves and live in our adult self. We have to own our power. If we constantly give it away to other people or situations, and this can sometimes become habit and become kind of so unconscious that we don't even realize we're doing it, then it's not a good thing. So somewhere think of this word throughout the month of July. Empowerment. How can I take back my power from situations? How can I take back my power in relationships that are out of balance? Think about where you perhaps say yes all the time, and you never say no because you just say yes because it's easier. Yes, because I'm nice. Yes, because I'm a kind person. That is not taking back your power. That is giving your power away. Take back your power by thinking, actually, I don't want to do that. So, no, I'm sorry, I'm not free. Why? They go. And you just say, because I'm not free. It's actually nobody's business. We don't have to justify any reason for not doing anything. So, oh, Tiffany's here. Okay. Are you? Oh, I'm just reading some of the chat. Empowerment. Yes. Take control. Typing this in chat to integrate. Don't have to explain anymore. Yes, please, everybody, use personal power to empower yourselves, because, you know, there are emotional vampires out there. There are people out there that suck our energy because they feel so disempowered and weak that the only way they can feel they have some power in life is by being unkind about us, nasty about us, telling us what they think about us because they think they're being assertive, and they have some warped kind of distortion of this being a kind way to help us, you know, develop as a human being. Just think about it. Think about, because, you know, a lot of the giving power away is what happens when you think of bullies in the playground, okay? They actually don't really have any power. The only way they can feel powerful is by taking advantage of others and bullying others. As soon as you say no and you stop them dead in their tracks, you take away their power. You own it for yourself. So I can see you've all been having wonderful live chat, and I can't catch up with it. And I'm so sorry, but I forgot to switch on the make live chat available after the video is uploaded. So I'll see if I can go back in and click the switch that does that. But I don't know how to do it. And I'm just going to press something here and see if that does anything, but I don't know. Don't know. So I'm just going to leave it. If I touch it, it'll all stop and go away. So listen, I'm really glad you're liking the Astrobites. I just want to remind everybody before I bring this to a close, because I'm really going to aim to get this in under the hour today. And I'm looking at boundaries, but Saturn putting form into the formless. Sometimes my videos are formless and I'm putting some form into them. And so let me just remind you that bookings on my website are now from September onwards, and you'll only see one slot a day, and it's 4 o'clock European time. For the East Coast, that's 10 o'clock in the morning, and 9 o'clock in the middle, 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock going westwards. And in the UK, it's an hour behind. And if you're in Greece, you're an hour ahead, or Turkey or Israel or somewhere like that. So there's just this one slot because, as you know, I'm really working hard on taking care of me and not overworking myself. So because I'm loving doing these Astrobites, and I'm going to do more of these Astrobites and try and keep them going so that I get a whole batch recorded at the beginning of the week, and then whoop, I can just upload them. I'm also putting them on TikTok. So if you are on TikTok, go. I tell you what, it's bloody funny. I've just become addicted. I found some certain people that I'm following, and they just crack. I'm learning an awful lot about relationships from TikTok, I can tell you. And so why don't you find me on TikTok as well? And you'll see that it's all terribly traditional and old-fashioned the way I do it. But hey, you know, a view is a view and a like is a like. So listen, everybody, thank you so much for joining me here today. Next week, remember, on Sunday, I'll be doing the live week ahead. So even though I'm doing the Astrobites, I will still do the live week ahead because there's so much more that I can say than I can do every day in the short little Astrobites. And remember, word of the month empowerment. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being such wonderful, loyal, and supportive subscribers. I couldn't think who you are. You're lovely. You're my soul fam. You're my friends. And just thank you. And on that note, I shall find the end stream button and say goodbye for now and see you next time. Bye. Hello, Titsil. Say hi to your. Did I say your name terribly? Of course I did. My pussycats, yes. George, you know, George, aka Red, aka I don't know, I've forgotten what his name is. Anyway, he is now living on top of the kitchen unit. So he comes down to eat and he goes back up again. It's taking him an awfully long time to integrate, but we're getting there. Anyway, enough of this. I love you too, Katie. I love you all. And thank you so much for listening to me sort of, you know, witter on as I do. And there'll be an Astrobite up in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I shall upload it. So be ready for that one. And happy July. And is there anything else I want to say? I don't know. I think that's it. And oh yeah, the new moon will be up sometime this week before Friday, which is the date of the new moon. Who do I think is going to win the UK election? I think Labour are going to get in. I think it's a done deal. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, I just think we need change. I mean, I don't know. Everyone says we'll be taxed. I don't know. So who knows? Let's just go grow vegetables and be self-sufficient and live off the grid. That's my advice. Bye for now. Bye, guys.